तक आ गए, अब हम तीनों में से कोई भी आपस नहीं जाए।
कल नहीं तो परसों, नहीं तो साल भर बाद अपनी ऊंचाई तक पहुंच ही जाएंगे हम।
सोच को जवा कर दे।
I'd like to welcome Team Uunchai on Filmy Shilmi. It's such a pleasure to have you all. So, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमसे जुड़े रहने के लिए. I think Anupam sir, I'm gonna begin with you actually. I think for me, it's quite wonderful to see you in action always. And I think from Saransh until Uunchai, I've always noticed many of your notable works have the theme of loss and discovery as a subliminal theme. So how has your career as an actor helped you, I guess, in dealing with these themes as a person as well?
Well, the very few people in the world get to do what they have always wanted to do. And I'm very one of those lucky people. In fact, all five of us always wanted to be in movies or in the field of acting. And God has been kind. Our audiences have been kind to us. And we are here. I am celebrating my 532nd film. I've been in movies for the last 38 years. This is the room, in fact, the room that you are looking at right now. This is the room I had my first meeting with the founder of Rajshri Films, Sooraj Barjatya ji. And today I am talking to you over here with these wonderful friends and actors of my journey and about a film which I'm very excited about. What else can be talked about God's kindness? So I'm amazing feeling that we are talking to you about our film over here.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, that's wonderful. In fact, Surajji, I know your association with Anupam sir actually began with Saransh, right? Like there was a bit of a connection. So I think tab se lekar ab tak, agar aap, if you look back, how would you sort of express the way your friendship and your sort of Uunchai of friendship has developed over time? How would you describe that?
I don't look, it's not friendship. Anupam sir is like my guru. So I cannot say like a friendship because ये तो रूम बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे, इसके सामने हमारी balcony है. वहाँ पे I've seen सारांश में at 5:36 in the morning बाहर जाके पूरा shave होता था head, and the glow on Anupam sir's face on that day, it was like, you know, जैसे यात्रा होती है, तीर्थ होती है, मतलब वो फिल्म भी उस passion से बनी. So from that day, from 1st January 1984, when sir gave me my first work, because producer का बेटा कोई set पे कुछ, maybe I would never have had the courage to ask work, because मैंने ना कभी ऐसे काम मांगा नहीं. हमारी इतनी secure life थी, कभी कुछ मांगना ही नहीं पड़ा, दे दिया. पहले दिन का set पे मेरे boss जो थे भट्ट साहब, उन्होंने बोल दिया ऐसे खड़े रहोगे तो कुछ सीखोगे नहीं, सबके सामने बोल दिया. तो अभी कौन दे मुझे? फिर उन्होंने मुझे बुलाया और बोला ऊपर जाओ और 11 नंबर से, कितनी बार तो 11 नंबर, उसके बाद जा चुके. ऊंचाई का पहला सेट ही सुबह सुबह पहले मैंने आया तो अनुपम सो, अरे एक फ्लोर 1 पे तो सेट है हमारा. सो आई 11 नंबर से ही आस्क्ड मी टू गेट अ डायलॉग स्क्रिप्ट एंड आई गेव इट टू हिम. कोई रटा हुआ सब डायलॉग था, बट वो जो वहां से लेके आज तक ये चौथी फिल्म है, एंड एवरी फिल्म आई हैव लर्न सो मच फ्रॉम हिम. एंड ऑन सेट आई एम द डायरेक्टर, बट व्हेन आई गो टू हिम out of my own personal moments of lack of confidence, then his prayers for me, he looks at me and he comes to know that what I need. So I think because it is so many years that I'm kind of unwanted once.
Right, that's very sweet. But I think जब हम परिश्रम की बात कर रहे हैं, नीना जी आपने actually एक जिक्र किया था, I think मैंने एक आर्टिकल पढ़ा था कि आपने काफी चेस किया था, and you've always fought hard to do work with Rajshri, because at that time I think you were saying that it was very hard to get access in that sense. So why, if at all, do you think Uunchai has been worth the wait? Or, you know, just looking at the strong roles that you've been doing of recent, what significance does your character have on your career so far and the sort of work you've been doing recently?
So, when Surajji called me to narrate the script to me, I couldn't believe it, because I still can't believe that I have done Uunchai. I still can't believe that I am in the office, because I could never get into the office for the past 35 years. So for me, it's a very, very big high, Uunchai. because it is Rajshri, it is Surajji, it's all the actors with me, great actors. So it's something very special, and the script is very good. And to top it all, my role is very good.
Hmm.
It's a very interesting role.
Right.
So I played a role of I'm Shabina Siddiqui, and Bamanji is playing my husband's part, Javed Siddiqui. I am one of those women, like most of the women, whose life resolves around her husband. I have a daughter who's married, lives out of Delhi. So my love, my attention, my care, my affection is all for my husband, for Baman. Bamanji, they're very lucky.
Jan,
So so this is how I am, and vice versa. Also, he also loves me very much, and we are a typical this thing. I look after dawai khai ki nahi, things like that.
Uh-huh.
But Surajji has rounded it up very well. So in the end of the film, towards the end of the film, what happens to my character is something which I think all the women will identify. That I can't tell you now.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much, Nina ji, for sharing that. And I think I've always admired Nina ji for being so bebak and being so honest about everything. And I just always have admired that about her. And in fact, Sarika ma'am, I wanted to also come on to you because you've also been quite I love also how you've also been very honest because I read up a few things too. And I think you worked with Rajshri during your initial acting days through, I think it was Geet Gata Chal. So how have the values of their films, I guess, impacted you as a person? And like Nina ji as well. I mean, have you ever sort of confronted social bracketing, and what has given you that Uunchai to battle that?
I don't know. I suppose I haven't done anything like I have just tried to get the kind of roles I want, and that sort of creates a kind of a gap when I'm not being able to do as much I want to do. But I really work hard on trying to work with the kind of directors I want and the roles I want. That's how I have tried to overcome that. I don't know if you can call it teaching. I think it was just the most beautiful film to do as your first film as a leading lady.
Yeah.
I don't think it can get more innocent, and literally it was so pure. Right from the music to the casting to our director, and then finally to the production that we know over the years, that kind of thing that we are all talking about Uunchai today and all that. But at that age, I didn't understand all that. The only thing I understood was that, much, much later that you figured out it was absolutely a beautiful film. If you even see now, the innocence of the film, the whole film, the package was because
I remember as a child going. I was school में थे हम लोग तो my mother sent all of us with a खाने का डब्बा to see करजत में. एक ही दिन गए थे हम shooting, and I remember Sarika ma'am, very young I think, तो एक scene था गन्ना वन्ना लेकर के cave और she's trying to bluff.
Tell them that she's
There's some suitors have come to, so she's telling them in very Bhojpuri some language. She's saying that some things are wrong with the girl. So I have memories of Sarika like jumping around.
No,
Wow.
but that is Rajshri's the values, if you call them, or you call them basic. I think it's a belief. I think it's more on human emotions and relationships, and that tehzeeb and tamiz, all that kind of. So I think whichever film it is always there. That's what it is.
Yeah, it really feels like a festival. Honestly, 11th November for me is like a festival. Like I've been wanting to see a Rajshri film for the longest amount of time, and this is one of the most highly awaited films. So I can really resonate with what you said. But so I think for me, Uunchai, from what I've taken away from the trailer, is a film which is about perseverance and persistence, and I think you all represent that to some extent. But I think Boman sir, your dream film career sort of began at a later stage in life, at a mature stage in life. To what extent would you say is your craft an extension of your personal hardships and endeavors and your experiences that you've gone through?
That's a very interesting question. I might say. Um, I think my craft has got everything to do with me as a kid. Owning it, even though I knew probably I may or may not be part of the movie business. But I used to sit and do practice, do scenes, write scenes, act out monologues. And then my journey took me from being a waiter to a shopkeeper to a photographer till the age of about 35. I was never faced, been done any kind of acting. And I started doing theater. And I realized on that day, the day I stepped foot on a proscenium, that I knew that this was what I was supposed to do. What took me so long? However, no regrets. And then came Munna Bhai at the age of 44. And I said, this is what I was supposed to do. What took me so long? And again, no regrets. Because everything has its own timeline and everything has its own way of maturing to a point where you were ready for this today. Not 5 years ago, not 5 years later, but today. And I think Uunchai, I don't think Uunchai, I would have ever been cast in Uunchai had it been my first film. Mm-hmm. I think I needed to pay my dues as an actor for a certain amount of 20 odd years, and then be worthy of being part of this great film, this great ensemble, and this great company, and this wonderful director. You have, and so it's not. I don't think the maturity of the character, performing with Neena and my friend Mr. Kher here and Mr. Bachchan and Sarika here, it can only happen after you paid your dues. Yeah. So my craft goes hand in hand with my story.
Right.
And Uunchai is actually what Boman sir just said. I mean, for Boman sir to start an acting career at that stage and be ready to, I think that is what Uunchai is. At 65 years, if people are ready to climb, it's not easy to climb even a small hill in Mathiran because you pack and packing takes time. Getting up in the morning is an issue. But here you are ready to climb Mount Everest base camp. I mean, it's almost what like Boman said told his life, and now he's making his first film. I mean, that shows the courage, and that's what Uunchai is about.
And I think, Surajji, as we spoke in our previous interview that we did, we spoke at length about, I love the gender representations in Surajji's films, especially when it comes to the men. At a time when I think I saw Maine Pyar Kiya, I mean, it had that Bollywood hero vibe, but yet we saw a male character show vulnerability, which was so rare. And I think even now we're having conversations about men showing emotions and, showing that susceptibility. So I think Anupamji, I want to ask you this question actually. Why do you feel that perhaps it's taken a while for, our society and Indian films generally to perhaps embrace that vulnerable emotional side rather than just being the machismo, Bollywood hero who just beats up the bad guys, and showing that vulnerable side? Why do you think it's taken a while for that to happen?
That's what makes Rajshri Films special.
Right.
That's what makes them in the 75 years of independent India. The lifespan of both the India and Rajshri is the same. They established their company on the 15th of August 1947. And in the last 75 years, they have done 60 films and never deviated from what they believed in, or never deviated from the values they were told by their elders. And that's the world they know. As per Suraj, that's what he said, that's the world he knew. So their characters are real. Their characters are genuinely believable, nice people. Yeah. Because they represent the niceness of human nature. I always say that, and I've started saying in the interviews that we are doing, that they are the national treasure of the country.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not single time they have sort of compromised with their values. That's why when you said that I'm waiting for this film, every credit goes to them. Yeah. Today I was in one of the interviews, I was saying that suppose we had the same script, we had the same cast, just remove the banner and the director from the film. It will not be the same film. Same dialogues, everything, same performance. It's still, the soul is very important.
Yeah.
That I think the credit goes to the Barjatya DNA.
Right.
They're really made out of some different world.
Yeah.
I don't agree with you completely. I think Indian cinema has shown some vulnerable characters by Basu Chatterjee, so many people, by Shakti Samant. There are a lot of people who have made. Sorry, Rishikesh Mukherjee,
Yeah, of course.
Gurudat.
Yeah.
Of late, it has become important that the macho man is even Dharamji, who is supposed to be the symbol of machoism, has played very simple character, whether it's Satyakam or whether it is Jeevan Mrityu in their film, or that Rishikesh Mukherjee and Chupke Chupke. So I think it's and you very rightly said the representation of women, the women empowerment that you have seen in Rajshri films is phenomenal.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm gonna actually use that as a reference. I was watching Viva again because I've been on a Rajshri marathon, so I've been watching every film of Rajshri.
Excuse me, it's my evening snack and I'm dying of hunger. Is it okay if I eat little
Yeah,
bit?
please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead. But I was watching Viva again, and there was this one. I think there's that scene where I think where Poonam is going to the chat, and Prem was like, "Oh, you've come because I asked you to," and she goes, "No, I came because I wanted to." And I love the fact that even the combination of the way females are represented, they're rooted, but yet they're women of today as well. So I think I've got two big questions actually on a parting note because we're running out of time. But I think to both of you, Neena ji and to Sarika ma'am, how important is it to showcase and balance both these aspects about being rooted but yet also embracing, and being part of today's society, basically combining those two aspects?
Yeah, but I think that is a process of growing, no? So that's the whole process. That's the whole idea. If you're talking about what your roots are, where you're from, and as a person or as an actress, when you're coming into contemporary times, you are growing naturally. You just have to make sure that you make it as much a learning process, and embracing everything that's changing around you that works for you, not necessarily anything. Whatever works for you, you embrace that, and then I feel you have to keep reinventing yourself to be relevant.
I would like to sort of add to something over there. I have done most of the films where I have sort of worked, or the actor in me has changed. I said, okay, now this was a very good thing achieved. Uunchai is one of the very first films. Saraj was one of those films. And after that, Uunchai, I will say where it has impacted me as a person. Anupam, the person, is impacted by it so wonderfully. I am more courageous, I am more compassionate, and I am more maybe kind. And I also value life and friendship a little more than after being part of this film.
Right.
It's really, really changed me unknowingly. I think change is very silent. And now that we are talking together and in some kind of a silence, we are talking, we've been going crazy since morning, shifting from one place, that I realized that it has really, really impacted my life in a big way.
Right. And Neena ji, what about you? In terms of the cultural roots and living with contemporary times, how much do you resonate with that? And then we'll go to Boman ji last as to wrap up.
You remain the same person. I'm Neena. I will remain Neena. My basic nature will remain the same. My basic values will remain the same. But like Sarika said, we have to grow with the times. I'll tell you small things. Like we used to, a few years ago, when we used to go for shooting, we used to say, "Ki mere aaj ke scene de do." Now they say sides de do. I don't like sides. Yeah. I like mere scene de do. Right. So like small things, but I have adapted because that's how they talk. That's how they work. So somewhere, if you want to keep working, if you want to be there, you have to adapt. but your basic values and nature remains the same, which is very valuable to yourself.
Right.
That's what I think.
Right.
Everyone has changed. Everyone has adopted to today's digital monitor, everything. But there are some things, which surprises me. For example, some of us here yet want the Hindi script.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so amazing. People have stopped writing, and हमको जब अनुपम sir, some of us wanted Hindi, हम रात भर ढूंढते रहे और वो Google में ई किया तो ई गड़बड़ हो गया, की गड़बड़ हो गया. So इस film में there's so much you balance both. It's a small thing, but it is conveying roots के साथ also. And then when I realized it makes a difference, because I don't know why they would want it, but makes
So because I'm from a Hindi medium school, I think in Hindi, and if something says मुझे वो चाहिए, so CHIAIYHHYE, so I will not pronounce it properly. But
I remember my lines better in
in
Devanagari.
Hindi, and I remember it faster.
And I also have a visual memory
Yes.
of the script.
Right.
and Kiranji yet wants an Urdu sir.
I know.
Oh, really?
That's how also. Sunil, that's how.
Oh, अच्छा.
And he writes it himself.
Sir.
He writes it. He first writes it himself, then Urdu समझ में आता है क्या बोला गया.
Wonderful. And I think, yeah, Boman sir, if you could, in fact, actually, Boman sir, I wanted to ask you before we last question. Again, how has the film impacted your perspective on friendship? Actually, I would like to know. I think that would be wonderful to sort of wrap.
I think I'll answer that question second.
Fine,
But-
perfect.
I'll answer the other question of how has it impacted me as a person, probably. I agree with Neena ji when she says that we are the same people, but the experiences do impact us in some way or the other. But just like any film, like even in Uunchai, every single character, our goal was to go to the Everest base camp, right?
Mm.
And we got there. But after we get there, how does that impact the character? There has to be a change of with the way of thinking and an adaptability to say probably I was wrong about the way I was earlier. Like
Yeah.
Mr. Kid's character earlier was a very irritable, difficult to deal with friend. But we loved him.
First spot.
First spot.
First spot.
There's a
That's
word
so
I-
different. That is so different to all the characters he's played previously in Rajshri films.
So if it doesn't change and make that change, then the film feels there's nothing to the film. You may reach your goal, but every human being, like all of us sitting over here, have flaws. Some could be minor, some could be fatal, that can be so detrimental to your growth and your existence. And sometimes moments like this do make you change, even though you will remain the same person, that you make sure that you recognize your flaw, fatal or otherwise, and improve upon yourself. Otherwise, it will be a very facile victory to say, oh, we got there. Oh, I won the World Cup. Oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. Oh, I made the money. Oh, I won the lottery. Oh, I won the, but till you don't make a change within yourself, this life is not worth living.
Right, absolutely. Well, on that note, I just want to say that it's been such an honor and pleasure to have Sarika, Boman Irani, Anupam Kher, Sooraj Barjatya and Neena Gupta on Filmi Shilmi. I think अगर मैं हिंदी में बोलूँ तो आत्म विभोर हो गया हूँ मैं आपसे बात करके और मुझे बहुत
What I did not expect from you, but आपका आत्मविभोर सुनकर हम भी आत्मसमर्पण करते हैं.
No, but thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you all. It's been a dream to have you all. Thank you so much for joining me and wishing you all the very best for Uunchai.
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you.
Thank you.
वो पेड़ ने हमें बहुत कुछ सिखा के गई। ये यात्रा उसके प्रति हमारी